The 5th episode for the Mighty Ducks Game Changers is out now, and of course, spoiler warning as always, I don't go too in depth with these videos, but still I do talk about stuff that happens throughout the entire episode, so there's your spoiler warning. This episode was good. There were things that I really liked about it, and then a lot of things that I was like, really? Just jumping straight into it here, they do this with a lot of shows now, and I feel like they've done this over time, but to make a show age well, you have to be able to put in like modern things, but not some stuff that is way too modern that only like one generation almost would understand, if you know what I mean. And I say that because TikTok plays a big part in this episode, because two of the girls on the team make a TikTok together, and they're like opposites. It's like the popular kind of girl and then like the nerdish, geekish kind of girl who wears like a cape and stuff, and then they make one together, but then we realize that the popular girl didn't post it, but she posted another one with her other friend who was another popular girl, and then the nerdy geek girl kind of confronts her about it, and she's like, yeah, why would you make it if you're not going to post it? I'm not good enough for you. And then it gets flipped, and then basically when the popular girl goes to apologize, the nerdy geeky girl, I'll call her like a geeky girl because she wears a cape, she says stuff about like, you don't know the difference between this sword and this or whatever, and she kind of is like, oh yeah, let's talk over here away from her group of friends, just like the popular girl did, because she's kind of embarrassed. And she says like, oh, it's a hockey thing or something, or it has something to do with hockey. But by the end, they do this very predictable thing almost, where of course the popular girl comes in and she's wearing a cape, and then the geeky girl comes in, she's wearing like Brandy Melville, is that what it's called? Some like nicer clothing, I don't know, more clothing that popular girls wear, I guess. And you can tell that was gonna happen, but for me, I was like, really? Is this where they're going to? Sure, I get it. For maybe younger kids, it's like, oh yeah, I see, and I can see, I know that there have been some problems with that in real life. Trust me, I know people have been mad. Oh, why'd you make this and not post this? Why'd you post this and not this? And it's so stupid. But here I was like, this isn't gonna age well. I don't know. And there's my little 2-minute rant on that done. And the show really, it's a hockey show, and I feel like in some of these episodes they actually lack some of the games. Now they do play the Hawks here, and it's actually fun to see them play the Hawks, and they do, as I said, spoilers, end up winning, because basically what happens here, a lot of this episode has to do with Evan's dad coming back. We haven't seen Evan's dad before, and I was like, okay, this is cool. And he's like the stereotypical deadbeat dad. He's a musician, he's touring, he can only play 3 chords, stuff like that. It's funny. And then Emilio Estevez, or Gordon Bombay, takes Evan out to see like his father's gig at one bar, and he stays out too late because they start doing this winging contest. It's kind of funny. And then Gordon Bombay like gives, like hands off the kid, basically, like brings Evan out to Alex's car, obviously his mom, and she's mad. And then the father or ex-boyfriend or whatever kind of like gives him advice for what he would do, and what he does is like he gives her a stuffy. But I'm like, why are you taking advice from the deadbeat dad, ex-boyfriend, person that Alex obviously really does not like? I didn't really understand why Gordon took that advice there, but then the episode does start to improve when we do finally get into the game, and then Evan's kind of mad, even before the game starts, a kid slashes him, so he cross-checks him right at the face-off, and he gets a penalty, and like, the, not commentators, but basically like, it was like Nick and then one other girl were like doing the podcast, and now it's her and her dad, and then she says like, oh, I think this is the first time I've seen a guy penalized before the game, which I thought it was penalized, which kind of sounds funny to say. But then the game goes on, and Evan's all mad because his dad promised to show up, and then he didn't end up showing up because he's with Gordon, and Gordon's like, yeah, I can drive you to the airport, it's okay, you don't need an Uber. And this was my favorite part of the episode by far, because he starts kind of driving him, and he's like, and then his dad's like, oh yeah, you can, as in Evan's dad, it's like, oh yeah, you can take this turn to the airport, oh, you missed it, and he keeps going. And then I was like, haha, that was nice. It was like a little thing, but stuff that people could catch on to, and I was like, hey, that's kind of smart. It goes on, and everyone kind of realizes, and then he takes him to the game, and he's like, I'm getting out. He's like, door's broken, because obviously you have to go in on one side, and then he's just like, you sit down, so he makes him sit in the crowd, and then they do end up winning. I thought it was sweet. I think it's a good way to, it really improved as the episode went along. The first bit, I was like, oh god, like, is this gonna be the first episode that I really don't like? But no, I did enjoy it overall. Not one of the best episodes, but all the episodes are just kind of like good. Like, they're nothing special, they're not really bad, I don't consider them bad, I just think they're all solid episodes, and I'm gonna give episode 5 of the Mighty Ducks Game Changers a 3 out of 5. Yep, it's good. There were a lot of things I really like, a lot of things I didn't like so much, but I kind of ranted a little bit too much about that. But again, it's a show, it's fun for kids, and I've heard from Brando, the Brando critic, that episode 6 is the best one yet, so I am actually excited for that. And you should definitely check out my reviews since The Falcon and the Winter Soldier is out. Check out my weekly reviews of those, and just all other reviews and rankings and lots of music stuff. If you love the Beatles, Led Zeppelin, Pearl Jam, all this like grunge, classic rock, all that, make sure to check that all out. And thank you all for watching. Tell me what you thought of this episode down below. Where does it rank amongst the other episodes? And I'll see you guys next time. Over and out.